Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk. I'm your host, Saieed Ali, a spiritual consultant and real estate businessman. Remember, for those of you that are having spiritual problems, feel free to contact me. Those of you who have properties to sell or looking for property to buy, you can also get in touch with us. And you know, you're letting your friend and your family your hard-earned cash and you cannot get it back. You have an agreement with them. Do get in touch with us at 339-1670 or 238-6716, and we'll be glad to assist you in getting back your hard-earned cash. So viewers, I want to say a special good night to you. Those on our page, Real Talk page, remember, like and share the page. We give you updates of what is taking place in Trinidad and Tobago. Every hour go by, every 30 minutes go by, everything happening in Trinidad and Tobago. We get a new report on it. We post it on our page. So like and share the Real Talk page. Those of you on YouTube, subscribe to YouTube, TT Real Talk, hit the bell, and you would know when we go live. So viewers, remember, this is a live calling program from Monday to Friday from 7 to 8 p.m. on Synergy TV. Feel free to call in. Our live studio lines are 238-6716. That is 238-6716. Feel free to call in as our program go along from 7 to 8. Let us hear what you have to say concerning issue that is taking place in your area. So viewers, as we start off tonight, government has taken a decision to amend regulations so that the gathering are now lower than 10. The limit is 5. So you cannot congregate in tens anymore. The most you could go at is 5 people. The announcement was made by National Security Minister Stuart Young at today's media briefing.
A decision has been taken based on the clear medical advice, and we will be amending our regulations today, the Minister of Health's regulations under the Public Health Ordinance, to reduce the number of persons who gather in any public place from 10 to 5. So the regulation will now read, during the period specified, which is until April 20th, persons shall not, without reasonable justification, gather in any public place where the number of persons gathered at any time exceeds 5.
So if you guys feel free to call in 238-6716. Let me hear what you have to say. I want to hear what Trinidad and Tobagonians have to say concerning the COVID-19 that is taking place in Trinidad and in Tobago. Even though you're up the Caribbean, it's in your Caribbean, it's in your country, call us, interact with us. We would know what is going on with you, and you would know what is going on with us. So I want to hear from you, from members of the Caribbean, Grenada, St. Vincent, Guyana, Barbados. Feel free to call in. Let us hear what is taking place in your country, and you would know from ours, from our show. Caller, good night.
Hello, good night.
Hello?
Oh.
Hello?
I'll listen.
Yes? So viewers, as we move on tonight, Minister Young explained. Now he said, this does not mean that persons in a group of 5 have to be together.
I just want to emphasize that
distancing. So even though you and 4 other friends are there together, you know, at least you keep your 2 feet, 3 feet distance, and you will be able to have your conversation. Caller, good night. Hello?
Yeah, Mr. Saeed.
Go right ahead.
Yeah, what's happening that these people really are listening to still have cars on the road regular, gathering all about.
True.
And you see this money thing they say they're sharing for people. They are giving nobody no money. Trust me, I telling you, because I know plenty people, and no poor people are getting no money. I don't know what they're saying. They give so much $1 million and so much thousands for this and that, food card and all these things. That is the only fooling the people. I telling you, it have nobody could call in now and say they get money. But everybody saying they're sharing money. These things is lie, Mr. Saeed. And the other I was listening you was talking about the carnival. The amount of money the carnival make, the money that the government is spending now to reduce this coronavirus. Which one get more? Think about it. Think about it, Mr. Ajay. Good night, sir.
Thank you, my friend. Now, viewers, let me finish what Stuart Young have to say, but feel free to call in. The Minister of National Security also addressed the issue of gathering outside the essential service like the banks.
Ladies and gentlemen, now is not the time for mischief. Now is not the time for social irresponsibility. Now is the time for us all to be personally, socially responsible. One of the things that continues to disturb us is seeing persons gathered outside some of the essential services, the banks, the supermarkets, not so much the pharmacies. And even though inside social distancing is taking place, outside people are still cluttered. We are asking persons, this is for your own safety and protection, please have that social distancing outside. Please only leave your homes if absolutely necessary.
Caller, good night.
Good night.
Hello?
Hello, good night.
Go right ahead, sir. Good night.
I'm calling to let you know of an issue in the Rio Claro area, specifically with the Miaro Rio Claro Regional Corporation.
Yes.
The CEO and road officers, they have gotten circulars from the ministry about social distancing and employee rotation and all of that to stop the virus spread. They have their drivers coming in after jobs and sitting in the yard, 20-something plus drivers congregating just to wait till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And they are not allowing them to leave.
This is the Rio Claro Corporation?
Correct.
So the drivers, so what you are saying is that the drivers coming in there, they are gathering in more than 5, more than 10, and they are just there.
Just sitting there, waiting on instructions, not allowed to leave or to practice social distancing.
Wow. Thank you, my friend. So viewers, you have heard it. There's an issue with the Rio Claro Regional Corporation where the boss man is allowing the drivers to come in. And instead of giving them tasks to do so that they could go out, they are all sitting there. Why are they allowing this? Now, another thing, as the minister said, concerning the banks. Now, I'm going to tell you something. These people want to go in, they don't have a choice, you know. Because if their money is in the bank and they have to go to the bank, you can't stop them. Because if I decide to get up 8 o'clock in the morning and go down to the bank, I don't know how many people would be in the bank. I don't know. The most I could do is the person in front of me and the person to the back of me, make sure they are at least 3 feet apart. That is the most I could do, because they would come to the bank to do the same thing I doing. Is that I take out money or you put in money, and 90% of the time you're coming to put in money. You understand? And taking out money too, because some of them have bills to pay. This is month end. Some of them have rent to pay. Some of them have business to see about. So what the minister is saying, I could understand you preaching social distancing and not gathering, but you can't stop that. It's something you just cannot stop. Caller, good night.
Yeah, good night.
Go right ahead.
I agree with the caller before that this government is not giving out no money. There's a set of liars, that wicked Colin Zengbert and all of them. They are lying.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, thank you, my friend. Now, let me just touch on it. A couple people called me today, and they said, Saeed, they went to collect their grant, their pension, or probably the disability grant, or whatever the case may be. And they said that they haven't gotten an increase. And the minister said that they will add on an increase to some of the grants, and people haven't seen it as yet. I could clearly remember the minister saying from April, they would increase the grant. By the 1st of April, you will get an increase. But about 15 or 20 people called me and said, Said, we have not received an increase. So we want to know that is the minister is just somebody just typing it out on a piece of paper and just giving the ministers to say, or are they really going to give the people the $150 more that they are saying? So the public is saying one thing and the ministers is saying the other thing. But the thing is, the receiving end is the public. And the public are calling to tell me, Saeed, we have not received. So there's a space between the minister saying and the public receiving. Somebody went to NIB today. They called me and I said, Saeed, when we went there, the people telling us that the minister they didn't put anything in place in order for them to move forward with it. So we want to know, why is the gap? You see, this is why for the last week or so, I was hitting very hard. Every time a motion was raised by the opposition, it is not. The speaker did not see it fit. Now Mountain is coming. Mountain is coming. People need to pay rent. A hairdresser called me from South this afternoon. She said, Saeed, my tenant wants his money. He don't want to hear what the government have to say. And this is the San Fernando area. She said the San Fernando, the hairdressers in that building, they have to come out with money. And for the last 3 weeks or 2 weeks, things have been very slow with them because of the COVID-19. And the tenant said he don't want to hear anything about what the government said. So what is really taking place? Are we ending up in chaos? Are we going to see people out on the streets? The reason why I am like this is because the receiving end is not getting what was promised. I am not bashing. I am bringing up something that is happening presently. And there's nobody to talk about it beside Real Talk. Caller, good night.
Hello, good night, Saeed.
Go right ahead.
The government didn't have money to buy medicine for the hospital.
True.
But now they have $10 million to give to the Baptist.
Oh, I heard about that. I heard about that. Thank you, my friend. Now, listen to this. National Security Minister Stuart Young has revealed the exemption was granted for persons to travel out of Trinidad and Tobago. This comes even as our borders remain closed. The minister was responding to a question from the media with regards to the Venezuelans vice president coming into the country last week to meet with the Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley.
Request was made. The vice president of Venezuela wanted to come in and discuss COVID-19 and how the approach to COVID-19 was being dealt with. I can tell you all, people make applications. So for example, 2 CARICOM prime ministers have reached out to us making requests for Trinidadian technicians to come to their various jurisdictions to help them with getting their medical plans where they need it to be. We grant exemptions for that.
Now listen this. Listen this, viewers. You see, tonight we having a discussion because I am seeing things going haywire in Trinidad presently. Presently. Caller, good night.
Good night, Mr. Ali.
Go right ahead.
Mr. Ali, the minister said that the taxi that registered to carry 4 passengers will only carry 2.
Yes.
One in the front with the driver and one in the back.
Yes.
So what difference does it make you having 2 in front and 1 in the back? And as well, you could as well put 2. The minister's transport, I never know once and talk anything sensible. Thank you very much.
Now, the reason why the minister said that is that if you're carrying 4 passengers, you will be allowed to carry 2. He also said, the Minister of National Security also said, it is not legal, neither illegal, for a taxi driver to raise their fare. That is coming from the Minister of National Security. If the taxi driver wants, he could raise his fare. The ministry cannot do anything about that. Now listen this. Listen this. We're going back to where the vice the Venezuelan vice president came into Trinidad. Since our borders were closed, a number of nationals stranded in other countries have reached out to the minister to allow them to come back home. He insisted, and he was grounded on that it would not be allowed, since those persons may pose a risk to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Minister Young has argued the fact that most of the cases of COVID-19 in this country are in fact imported cases. He said being on an airplane is very risky at this time.
This is not 40-something, 50-something, 70-something people coming back in and staying here. There are risks right now with international travel. So even, for example, when some of these other states, so for example, the United States asked for a flight, permission was being granted. These are people leaving Trinidad and Tobago. What the warning to them is, understand right now one of the most risky places to be on is an airplane. That has been proven. People just look around at what we call the importation and the spread of COVID-19. One of the riskiest places to find yourself on right now is an aircraft.
All right, viewers. I'll go into that now. Caller, good night.
Yeah, good night, Mr. Ali.
Go right ahead, my friend.
Mr. Ali, that is talk. People was open to that as usual. People was layman as usual. People was together as usual. Trinidadians not going to obey that unless it become a state of emergency. It's Trinidad you're talking about. And yet again, the country have been seen with their eyes. These people finding millions and billions to put for Baptists and put there and put everywhere. I'm not vexing the Baptist that, but where is the workers in Trinidad and Tobago back pay? Why they must tighten their belt for, and you're finding millions to fix hotel and do all kind of things. Trinidad people need to come together and deal with this. And yes, people has been getting money, but they're close friends and family. You understand? So the country don't do that.
Thank you, my friend. Now listen this, Listen this. The minister said that the U.S. asked for a flight to take the citizens from Trinidad and send them to the U.S. Correct? Now listen this. Listen this. You're taking the citizens, you're talking about the worst place to be is on a plane. The U.S. citizen departed Trinidad on a plane because the U.S. made a request that its citizen be flown back to the U.S. So what about now? What about if the Foreign Affairs Minister get up from the seat that he glued on and open his mouth that God gave him to make a request to Margarita and to Barbados for the citizens to come back home? Just how the U.S. made a request for their citizens to leave Trinidad and come back home. Just so you're leaving Margarita and you're coming back home. You're leaving Barbados and you're coming back home. Huh? I tell all you had to come good, you know. All you had to come good, you know. Come real good. Because man like me out here, we go have problems all the time. Because let me tell you something. In the U.S., they are human beings. U.S. citizens in Trinidad left Trinidad on a plane to go home to the U.S. The U.S. made a plea. What happened to the Foreign Affairs Minister that it have in Trinidad and Tobago? What happened to his mouth? Eh? Let's say something now. Call a good night.
Saeed,
Yes, my friend.
check those doctors, the nurses that coming from Cuba, if they're coming on a bicycle.
Thank you, my friend. So now listen this. Listen this, Follow me closely because tonight, we didn't have Monday, no, but we have Mash Up Tuesday. Health Minister Terence Dialsing yesterday confirmed that a group of Cubans, nurses, will be arriving in the country. These nurses and them under quarantine before they come into Trinidad. Keep in mind, they are from another country. He made this revelation at the Ministry of Health press conference. The minister said these nurses would be placed in the intensive care unit for COVID-19 patients. What happened to the doctors and the nurses that graduate from nursing school in Trinidad? What happened to them? That is one. Listen to this. He indicated that the government signed off on it approximately 3 weeks ago. So nearly before COVID-19 started, let's sign off. So that was in the making before COVID-19. Allah come na man. Allah come good na man. How long Allah had a discussion with the Cuban health sector before they sign off? Because they can't come to Allah and say, well, you know, we come to Trinidad in the healthcare, and Allah go say, well, yes, Allah come now, and you're going to sign off. It's a rules and regulation. You must want to know who qualified or not. Caller, good night.
Good night, Mr. Said.
Go right ahead.
Said, the first responsibility for any government that governs any country is the responsibility of protecting a citizen.
Correct.
No matter what circumstances you face, you have to protect and secure your citizens. And in a case like this, if every single one of our citizens is infected with the COVID virus, we as a government supposed to bring them back into our country and ensure they are taken care of in our soil in Trinidad and Tobago. And at this time, when we have a government that is abandoning our citizens and letting them have to fend for themselves outside, that just goes to show what and how they treat and think about the people of this country that they are governing. Remember all the flooding and thing when Stuart Young say, why you're going to build on riverbanks? So that means flood out. Who give you the right to go on riverbanks, and then you're not providing what you're supposed to provide for the citizens of this country to not to build on riverbanks? You encourage everybody to fly all over the place and do whatever they want. And when you see them stranded now, you abandon them. That is the government that we have today in this country.
Thank you, my friend.
Good afternoon, Mr.
Now, viewers, he did not state how these nurses will be arriving in the country. However, they will be placed under the responsibility of Dr. Anthony Parkins. So we have nurses coming in from Cuba. They signed off on this 3 weeks ago. How long did COVID-19 hit Trinidad and Tobago? How long? Somebody call and give me a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Somebody call and say something. Caller, good night.
Hello, good evening, Saeed.
Go right ahead.
Boy, real people dying in New York City, boy. I see they pack up a 40-foot container for body in Brooklyn, boy. We are no Trinidadian in New York want to come home, boy.
Boy, it's not easy. Thank you, my friend. So we're moving on again. Listen to this. 2 more confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Trinidad and Tobago have pushed the number to 87 as of 4 p.m. this afternoon. In its latest release, the Minister of Health stated that the number of samples sent for testing were 558. The 2 new cases are said to be persons who came in contact with an infected person. Just yesterday, Chief Medical Officer Dr. Roshan Parashuram said, "We have our first case of local spread."
So local spread is expected right after you have importation, meaning that somebody is...
He said in the coming days, we can expect an increase in local spread.
So local spread is expected right after you have importation, meaning that somebody is unlinked. And I spoke about hidden cases, meaning that you could have been expressing symptoms, left your home, gone to a supermarket and been in close contact with someone that you would not have known, and that person now develops symptoms. That is what we call a local case or a hidden case. So I believe we may have a couple, if not a few more local cases over the next couple of days.
So you heard that, viewers? So what we have to do now, we have to take some serious precautions. But I come into a little heated fire just now. I want to hear what you have to say. Caller, good night.
Hello, good night, Saeed.
Go right ahead.
I am not a Trinidadian, but I am telling you, I am not sorry for Trinidadians to get locked out of their own country. You have a Tobagonian as a prime minister, and you have a St. Lucian as a deputy prime minister. So it's good for the Trinidadians.
Thank you, my friend. Well, I just hope that you don't end up in the same situation. At the end of the day, you are a human being. And I just hope you have no friend and no family and no outside country, and you have to be calling Real Talk to say, Saeed, so and so going on in the country. So listen to this now, viewers. The chief medical officer explained that this is just another state in the pandemic.
It means that there's a large number of local cases, and all of them have been communicating heavily and basically spreading amongst large segments of the community or the population. We have not gotten to the stage of community spread, but we are seeing, I think, first few cases of local spread, which is normally part of the epidemic evolution. So we expect the numbers to increase predominantly in terms of defining the epidemic now. Just to reiterate, predominantly we have imported cases or cases that are primary contact with another case, but we have a few cases which seem like the first cases of local spread to me.
Over the weekend, 2 of the persons tested positive for COVID-19 are said to be the first 2 suspected cases of local spread. So viewers of Real Talk, tell your friends and your family that COVID-19 is a very serious crisis that we are dealing with. If it ends up being local spread and community spread, an entire community would be on a lockdown. Nobody would leave, nobody would come. So keep that in mind. Now listen to this, we talk about the Cuban nurse leaving Cuba to come Trinidad. You're leaving the next country to come in Trinidad. Who knows who have the flu or who could be contaminated and then showing? Good? We have the U.S. citizen. U.S. made an application. They want their citizen exit Trinidad to come back into the U.S. It was granted by the minister, and they left on a plane back to the U.S. We have the Foreign Affairs Minister. I don't know if he's in Trinidad. I don't know if he's not in Trinidad. I don't know if he has the sore throat or not, because he's not saying anything. So right now, the Foreign Affairs Minister post, I consider it vacant in Trinidad and Tobago. Who vexed? That is all your business. You know why I'm saying it like that? Because if all of it end up in another country, all of what I want to voice all your opinion, all of it look for all your phone, where's side number, let me call Real Talk and let him know where we did. Keep in mind, it could have been any one of you all. So right now, I consider the Foreign Affairs Minister's post in Trinidad and Tobago vacant, because he's not coming out to make a statement to ask the Margaritan government to allow the Trini citizen to fly back to Trinidad. He is not in contact with the Foreign Affairs Minister in Barbados to come out and say, let our Trinidadian friends come back to Trinidad. Caller, good night.
Good night, Saeed.
Go right ahead.
What I have to tell you, right? This government just only wasting time, you know. I will tell you why. If you want to say, well, lock down a country and have essential services and non-essential services, you don't have to have the bank open whole week. You don't have to have the hardware open whole week or the drugstore. You can make different days.
Yes.
So that people will be able to go and will have less people on the road. When you have this thing as it's going there, it's the same thing go up. People are staying home in the house, and then you will say how they are against this, they are against that. But at the end of the day, the government don't even know what they're doing. Them is a total waste of time. Good night, Saeed.
Thank you, my friend. Now, viewers, this is a live program from Monday to Friday. A repeat is the following morning from 10 to 11. feel free to call in because this is concerning you. Now listen this, Listen this. It's a real bacchanal night tonight, you know. Police officers can request persons. Police officers can question person as to where they are going. Listen this, The confirmation came from the National Security Minister, Stuart Young. He said, according to the law, this was possible even before COVID-19 pandemic.
Even before COVID-19, the police service has certain powers. The police service can ask anyone what is the business that they're about, especially at a heightened time like this. The police service, if they saw large gatherings of crowds and they determined that there was some risk associated with it, the police service can always ask us citizens to disperse and to move along.
So before I go to that call, I just want to finish up this. Meanwhile, the Minister of National Security assured that Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force has no more power than it already has.
At no point in time did the government, through me, ever say that the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force have any more powers than they have. The Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force at this time is in full support of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, and they are doing their part.
Caller, good night. Hello? Minister Young also commented on a video circulating on social media which showed members of the protective service abusing their powers.
Yesterday, there was some disturbing video footage that is being investigated. We saw the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, it appeared, officers as well as Trinidad and Tobago Defense officers, force officers or personnel engaging in some behavior that is condemned and not condoned. The Chief of Defense Staff immediately, as well as the Commissioner of Police, immediately commenced investigations. Those persons, when found, will be dealt with in accordance with the law.
Now, viewers, I will tell you something. In accordance with the law, now I was listening to the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Gary Griffith, is saying that these officers will no longer wear a TTPS uniform. Well, I hope also Trinidad and Tobago Regiment, they would dismiss their guys with immediate effect. But the thing is, we have seen videos circulating. Year come, year go, months come, months go, week come, days pass, days come, about some TTPS officers abusing their power. And what you do, you transfer them from Port of Spain and you carry them down San Fernando and they still have the same amount of power. So nothing had really happened. Nothing had really happened. So why not fire them? They're supposed to be setting an example. And if you suspend the officer still going home with pay. So what you doing? He could look for next work while he gets in a government salary and work from the outside. So it's 2 salary in 1. And what you doing? What you doing? Huh? You see, the poor people of Trinidad and Tobago need a mouthpiece that they could rely on and somebody who would stand up for them. Caller, good night.
Yes, Mr. Saieed. They say they're sharing money, right? But they lock down the country and it's the poor man had to get the money and it's the poor man had to stay home. How are you getting that money?
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Now, we're going to our next piece of mashup story. A bar owner was also arrested over the weekend for not obeying the law. Minister Young said, this is not about police arresting persons. That's what he said. But they will do it if they have to.
And this is not about arresting people. That is the last thing that we want to do. But the police have shown that they will do it. So last night, again, unfortunately, there was a bar owner who was warned during the day yesterday to keep his bar closed. He assured the police he would. The police went away, and subsequently a few hours later were told he was doing the same activity again, opening his bar, people congregating and serving alcohol as though the bar were open. He was arrested and is charged. So that is the second one. The police will do all that they have to do to keep the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago safe.
Now, viewers, there were 2 bar owners. One over the weekend and one yesterday, I believe. Now, let me tell you how this unfolds. You all will be so surprised. One barman was granted, listen to this, bail in the sum of $1,000 was granted to a Couva bar owner for breaching COVID-19 public health regulation. $1,000. Keep that in mind. All I hold that in the front of all of mine. I'm coming back to that. The bail was granted at the Couva police station earlier today. Listen to this. The second bar owner to be arrested for doing so. That was the guy that hold yesterday. Listen this. Listen this. Police were on patrol in the Couva last Sunday when they warned the owner of the bar about entertaining customers and selling alcohol. Report says he allegedly told them he would stop. However, on Monday the police were told that the bar was open again. When police arrived at the bar, they found a group of approximately 13 people there. The owner was subsequently arrested and charged. Meanwhile, a 29-year-old Surju was granted bail in the sum of $25,000 for breaching the public health regulation. This is another barman. So one was granted in the station $1,000 for breaking the public health regulation, and one was granted bail in the sum of $25,000 for breaching the public health regulation. The 2 of them is barman. Come on, Minister of National Security. The both of them are barman. How one can pay $25,000 and one paying $1,000? Eh? Call good night.
Hi, good night, good night.
Go right ahead.
Okay, one thing. Mr. Moses and the President, both of them quarantined themselves from the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, to start with. Right? And also, if you listen to the press conference that these minister and them given every day, Stuart Young saying that how the police arrest here and this and that. They are making laws and expect the police to carry out them laws without they going to Parliament and making laws and trying to enforce it on the citizens. That is stupidness. Remember when he said that how don't test the defense force? Right? He come out and he said don't test the defense force. What you doing? Now the soldiers who was in the vehicle with the police that give the man the rum and give him a workout. Right? They not a dischargeable offense. Because at the point in time, if you look at the video, what I am seeing is that the police gave the man the alcohol, and the police was giving them to do push-ups and do this, not the soldiers. They could only charge the soldiers to 77 conduct and become in. But they have a good chance of taking and winning their case. The soldiers didn't do anything. They would sit down there. They can't.
Paula, let me stop you there. Did you see the part where they was pointing the gun at him and telling me if you don't drink it, they go shoot you?
I didn't see that part.
You didn't see that part?
If they point the weapon at them, what they would
see if all can get it, fellas. See if all can get it. I'm sure the public what went on. Thank you, my friend. Let me tell you something. This is a serious thing. Watch. This is a serious thing, you know. This ain't no joke, you know. The man is a homeless man on the street. Use a man sit down with power. Power because you're wearing a uniform. Eh? What about if somebody take advantage of all the family like that on the street? What are you going to do? Eh? I'm not saying it would happen, you know. But I'm saying if. Watch. Watch. Viewers, watch. We have audio for it?
Alright, you militant?
Yeah, baby. I said it's
Let's go!
Can we go?
You will find somebody else.
You can't make.
You can't.
You get through.
You drinking enough, you drinking enough.
Yeah,
you want to do right? When the fan moving away, run with the fan. Let me go. Left turn. Let me go. Left turn. Let me go. Follow me. Let's go. Come on, you saying. You have 2 seconds, eh? But I feel like I go shoot here. They sit here. You will get shoot tonight. Alright, well, come on, let me go.
Now, viewers, what do you think about that? What do you think about that? Let me tell you something. I've been real with all you. They might move them from Port of Spain and they will carry them to San Fernando, and that's the end of that. I tell you all of that. Concerning the bail, the matter was heard before Magistrate Christine Charles via video conference. Video conference. But we have the Vice President. The Vice President had to take a plane to fly into Trinidad to have a discussion on COVID-19 with the ministers. All around the world, they're doing video conference. But the minister from across there now had to take a plane to come in Trinidad to sit down among these ministers to talk COVID-19. Why you couldn't do it on a video conference? Doctor, say something. Say something. 25,000 was pleaded guilty to the charge. The matter was adjourned to May 25th. Eh? All I feel is joke. Call a good night.
Hello, good night.
Go right ahead.
Yes, I have 2 points. The first point is that they say they only have 2 local cases. To how many local cases? And all the rest was foreign cases. But the people who came out the boat and went and was tested positive, they had them separate from the rest who did not think positive. And they had them self-quarantine. And the people was complaining inside there that the condition was not suitable for quarantine. And that is how they develop all them cases, and people not looking into that. Is that the government minister of health failed because the situation was not properly, and that is how it was spread to all those people getting that inside there. Second point is that the Minister of Security is calling all them things under the Health Act, and that is not in line with the Constitution. That is why the police have no power and jurisdiction, that people live in the home and cannot do anything. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, my friend. Now, I go, listen this, eh? Listen this, eh? We have 2 barman bridge. The public, yes now. Public health regulation, 2 barman. This minister is saying, if they catch you outside, if police catch you outside without a proper explanation or without a proper reasonable cause, they will charge you 50,000 or 6 months in jail. So if we have these 2 businessmen breaching the public health regulation and opening up a business for people to come in and they get charged, you charge them 1,000 by 25,000. How the hell in God's name you're going to hold a citizen and charge them $50,000 or 6 months in jail? Who is contradicting who? And then we have the Commissioner of Police now coming out and saying they cannot charge anyone because there's no law in place. Huh? Somebody say something. Some minister say something. Some advisor say something. Because they'll have Trinidad and Tobago in a monopoly board without proper rules and regulation for TTPS to charge. Call a good night.
Them police too wicked, boy.
You see the proper video now?
Yeah, them police real wicked.
Thank you, my friend. So now I want to see now how long the investigation would go on because it have a video circulating with the face of one of the officers. Huh?
Alright, you want to do right?
Yes.
When the van moving away, run with the van. There we go, left turn, there you go.
It have the video circulating with the face of one of the bloggers. Who's that? How you call that? Back it up a little bit, the director. Boom shot. How you call that? I don't need an editing software to get that. I have a good director. How you call that? Anybody know this fella? I'm sure somebody in TTP is going to know this fella. The commissioner, watch me, commissioner, you have to go nowhere, you know. You don't have to go nowhere because the video circulating, it have his picture. I want to see what you're doing with him. Because a man with power and authority threaten the next man to shoot him, you know. But I'm going to tell you something. If that was Saieed Ali with the licensed firearm, you know what is happening? All now, so I would have been locked up with them seizing my gun and then I throw away the key. Let me tell you something. This is one reason why. Come back to me, guys. This is one reason why. This is one reason why I don't beg nobody to fund my show, you know. Because when I start, I just be on a roll. And don't call me to tell me, Saieed, you can't talk about that because we have an ad. Keep your ad and keep your money. Because I here for the citizen and I just thank God every day go by that I don't have to beg nobody. Caller, good night.
Good night.
Go right ahead.
Have a blessed night. Here, listener.
Caller, speak up a little.
Okay, are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay. Essential, right? Which is the pharmacy, the groceries, right?
Yes.
But why do they have Pennywise and all those places open?
Correct. Now, some people say that some food outlets are open. Right? Some food outlets are open. But how come the doubles man can't sell the doubles? Because he's a man on the pavement? Because the doubles man is a man on the pavement, he can sell? He just have probably about 4 or 5 people around him. But when you're going to them big establishment, they say the 1% own it. I don't know. You understand? They say they own it. When you go in there, you see a line from the cashier, straight out by the door. About nearly how much? About 30 feet? About 30 feet long. You see everybody line up. But the doubles man can't make it hustle to the side of the road. Come, Trinidad. Come, ministers. I'll come better than that. This is why. Let me tell you something. This is why. When the opposition, I just label the opposition to when they're ready, you know. Because when I don't hear from them, I just heat them up one by one. Where the opposition? This is why when the opposition ministers raise the matter in court. Mr. Speaker, let's move the motion to discuss it. Oh, it's not important. I wonder since when the president made the declaration in Trinidad and Tobago that the COVID-19 virus is dangerous since in January. Since in January. But the health minister now didn't see it fit. He didn't see it fit to call off Carnival. You know why? Carnival bringing in money. Huh? Bringing in money for somebody's pocket. Call her good night. You gone? We have our next issue. Police were up till this morning, searching for a man who escaped, well, let's say quarantine. According to initial report, the man was tested positive. This is what reports are saying, because we hear it conflicting, but I still want to let you keep in the know. According to initial reports, the man was tested positive for COVID-19 and escaped health official when he was informed that he would be taken to Cora Hospital. Like he shoot out like a horse. However, National Security Minister Stuart Young said that the man did not test positive as previously reported.
That matter was brought to my attention by the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service early this morning. I immediately contacted my colleague, the Minister of Health, as well as the Chief Medical Officer. To alleviate the concerns of the public, it appears as though it was a person who was in quarantine at one of the health facilities. He has not tested positive. And the person decided that they no longer wanted to be there and left. Right now, the police service are looking for him, but he has not tested positive. In fact, it was subsequently explained to me by the police service that the officer who put out the messaging was a little exuberant and a little too hasty in his messaging, but it shows how important it is we get things right. So there's no need for any panic or any level of concern. The police are looking for the individual. He has not tested positive.
Well, if the police looking for the individual, which means it's safe for we to put up a picture, because presently he is wanted. Am I right, guys? Director? Which means he's wanted. We could put up a picture. We have it? No, we don't have it? Okay, nevertheless. As we move on tonight, viewers, there will be changes to clinics for pregnant women as a result of COVID-19. So for the pregnant woman, the families who have their daughters or the granddaughters pregnant, this is for them. These changes were announced earlier today by acting head of obstetric and gynecologist at the Port of Spain General Hospital, Saieed Ali Ismail. She said it is important for pregnant women to get their regular checkups even at this time.
Women who do not attend antenatal clinic visits, who decide to eliminate this as part of their care, actually put themselves and their infants, their babies, at tremendous risk. So I would definitely encourage everyone out there to make sure that they stay in touch with their healthcare teams and to ensure that their antenatal surveillance continues.
Dr. Ismail, however, said there would also be limited visiting.
It is important also to note that things are not going to function the same way. Things have to change as a result of the social distancing. So there will be new clinic times, there will be new visiting hours. Visiting itself in hospitals and institutions will be limited. We urge people who need to be admitted to make sure that they limit the number of visitors that they have as well.
So viewers, to the pregnant woman, that is for you. Now, call a good night.
And a very good evening to you, Mr. Said.
To you, my friend.
Laws, once a law is not proclaimed via an act of parliament, it is not a law. However, I would still advise our dear citizens in Trinidad and Tobago to please observe the protocols and whatnot, because self-preservation comes first, and your safety is your personal responsibility. About the policemen with the punching and what they was doing to these homeless people, when I saw that yesterday, Said, my stomach started to boil. I was enraged. I get crazy. Now, and you could hear one of the policemen saying, after they almost finished with one of the guys, leave here, let me go and find somebody else. So these people, rather than doing the state duty, which they've been paid for by the taxpayers, they was having fun and getting kicks.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And if you have a licensed firearm, and you should point it in a threatening manner without provocation to somebody, you could be charged, your license could be revoked, all the best.
Correct. Thank you, my friend. Why they didn't go in some drug block? Why they didn't go down in some drug block and do that? Huh? Why they didn't go down in some drug block and do that? No, I'm asking, why didn't they go down in some drug block? They're going to harass a man on the street who cannot retaliate at them. You have firepower, you have power, go down in a drug block. They want to do that. All you consider all your life, they're very, very valuable. Trinidad and Tobago, for the people with the pension and the grants and things that you have to collect, this is for you. Trinidad and Tobago Postal Corporation, that is TT Post, has advised the public that in the light of COVID-19, their service during the period 31st of March to the 15th of April will be as follows. Post office will be closed except where such office are used for the delivery of pension checks. In which case, the post office will remain open from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. until the 3rd of April 2020 to facilitate the delivery of pension checks. All other service at these and the other post office will be suspended during the period 31st of March to the 15th of April. So from the 31st of March to the 15th of April, they would only associate themselves with the pension checks given out. So for the listening public, your grandfather and your grandmother and thing, let them know that is only from the 31st. From the 31st of March to the 15th of April, they would get their pension checks. Feel free to go in and collect it, because any other postal concerning that, they will not be able to attend these matters. So viewers, remember, rerunners of this program is at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. We will be right back with you tomorrow night, being Wednesday, for another episode of Real Talk with Saieed Ali. Remember, COVID-19 is serious. There's a new law now, that a new legislation, more or less, something for the public to understand. Do not gather in groups of 5 or more. Do not. So it is for your safety. As you can hear, we have the local spread now, community spread, not far from there, from one person to the next. And next thing you know, well, we have 19,000 waiting to show symptoms. I myself are looking on. So viewers, be safe. Enjoy the night. Until we meet again. Viewers, be safe. Enjoy your night. Good night.